A very good afternoon to all my viewers and welcome everyone to the Sentinels Newsmakers. Today, my guest is 5 times Mizoram Chief Minister, senior Congress leader, and in fact, one of the longest serving politicians from the state, Mr. Lal Thanhawla. Sir, thank you so much for joining me on Sentinels Newsmakers. Welcome to the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So let me start by asking you this. I mean, what do you personally feel about Zoram Thanga government's handling of the overall COVID situation in Mizoram? Because Congress seemed to be really unhappy the way the MNF government is handling the situation. Of course, we are seeing a steady rise in the number of cases in Mizoram at this point of time.
Yes, for a long time we were very happy because Mizoram remained green area for a long time.
Yes.
But then when our government had to start collecting stranded Mizos in various parts of the country, in various parts of the cities, in various cities,
Right.
then they had to come home.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people coming from Chennai, Delhi, and Maharashtra.
Yeah.
From them, we say we have contacted this disease. Otherwise, before this, there was only one case, and
Right.
that too, a pastor coming from all the way from Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
himself had suspected himself while he was in Denmark, and when he arrived here, he went straight to the Myanmar. We call it Myanmar. Uh, Mizoram Institute
Yeah.
of Medical Research and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The college which has started. Now the new government has renamed it Zoram Medical College.
Yes.
I think it
Yeah.
is after Zoram Tanga.
Mm.
Even though they didn't spend a single pie. Now
Right.
this, Mizoram Institute of Medical Studies and Research
Mm-hmm.
had been started by us. It was the Efraganovo time. It was
Right.
inaugurated by me, and it is going to be a research center. And to feed the college, to feed the institute, we constructed this you
The medical facility.
hospital, a
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
So, mm, so that has been very, very useful now. You see, after this has invaded us,
Mm-hmm.
the COVID-19 has invaded us. You see, everything has to be brought urgently from outside the state, and the state medical department, health department, of course, this being a new disease, they
Yeah.
were prepared well also.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything has to be brought from outside urgently, and it was very this airport in Aizawl
Yeah.
was made very good use of for this
Mm-hmm.
emergency medicines and instruments we brought from outside.
Right.
And now, of course, after all the stranded resources are back from various cities of the country, now it keeps on increasing now.
Yes.
And initially, of course, since this is a new thing,
Yeah.
it was no surprise that the medical department, health department was not fully prepared. They were taken by surprise rather. But
Right.
now it was the energetic health minister who himself is a very energetic, very experienced
Mm-hmm.
Dr. R. Thanhawla.
Right. Yeah.
he has been doing his best with the help of the senior doctors there. And now I think they have been running the research center well, as well as the referral hospital.
Right.
To feed this institute, we also reconstructed this referral hospital. And these two are working together now in close cooperation. And all those active cases are hospitalized in the referral hospital, which was created by us for the use of the medical institute that we had started.
Okay. So now there's been a steady increase. Of course, like you mentioned, it is, and we all know it is because most of the stranded people have started coming back
Yeah.
home. That is a reason why. So you seem to be more or less happy the way things are at this point of time, the way the government is handling the situation at this point of time. But your party, at one just a few days back, actually,
Mhm.
asked for the resignation of finance minister, who is also the chief minister of the state, Mr. Zoram Thanga. So,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of accusations that has been leveled by the Congress party against Zoram Thanga and his government, the MNF government there in the state. So, how would you react and respond to all those allegations? There were allegations leveled against the government, saying that money was not clear on time for the test kits to be procured. In fact, like I mentioned, the chief minister himself holds the finance portfolio. Then there are allegations about the kind of tests which were conducted. So, a lot of accusations there from the Congress camp. How would you respond to that?
So one factor why we are not very much happy with the functioning of the state government is that, in spite of the chief minister
Yeah.
constantly saying that there is plenty of money, and he even said that it is so the money is so huge, the number they have so much money that words cannot express how much they have and all. So
Right.
in spite of that, when the need arises, there was no money, enough money for the health department. Now, at one point of time, the health department wanted some money
Yes.
for fighting effectively the invasion of COVID-19.
Yeah.
But the finance department turned down. And
Yes.
unfortunately, the finance minister happens to be our chief minister.
Yeah.
That is why my colleagues are not very happy about it. You see,
Right.
at this point in time, whatever financial amount the health department demands or require,
Yeah.
it has to be given
Right.
immediately, because the life, the human life is very precious, very important, and to save as many lives as possible, the money should be there for the health department to spend according to requirement. But that
Yes.
was not so. And it was made public that the health department demanded some money from the finance department for fighting COVID-19 effectively, and for purchasing some instruments, medicines, and all. But in spite of that, the finance department did not mm, agree to their
Yeah.
demand. And
Right.
that was very much in the news throughout Mizoram.
Right.
Not
Yes.
only the Congress, but most people are unhappy. Why should, at this point of time, the finance department refuse to sanction money, which was required by the health minister, health department? They are in dire need of uh, money for
Funds. Yeah.
purchasing medicines and instruments and all that. So when it is turned down, naturally the people also are unhappy about it.
Right. But it's really good to hear good words from you for the health minister of the state. So, do you feel that the kind of health infrastructure that should have been created over the years during your tenure also as the chief minister, has that somehow been lacking there?
I don't think so, because not because I was involved, but because they say we have first ever uh, I use hospital in the northeast in
Right.
time zone. It is
Okay.
50 bedded I use hospital.
Hmm.
And the referral hospital, which was completely destroyed by the earlier Tamil government, we restored it.
Hmm.
During that time, you see, it was used for poultry farming and say rearing of goats, this, that, and all. But when we came back, right from day one, we started rebuilding and reconstructing it. And had
Yeah.
it not been for that, today would have been in bad shape. Now
Hmm.
the referral hospital and the college that we have started, they has become very, very useful.
Hmm.
Had we not constructed reconstruct this, there would have been no place for these COVID-19 victims to treat.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Yes. So
Our
that's
the
yeah.
biggest hospital in the state, our civil hospital, located in Aizawl, in the middle of Aizawl, and such dreaded disease, it would not be right to treat such victims in such a hospital. Therefore, there's our referral hospital in Falcon is about almost 45 minutes drive from Mysore to the south.
Right.
It is
Okay.
located there. And it is very convenient. And we are very happy that we have reconstructed all these referral hospitals, which was completely destroyed by the other ministry. And not only that, we had started this medical college, which would have been a research medical institute.
Right. Uh, so another issue here is about the migrant workers coming back. A lot of students, they are coming back. So do you feel that this is not just the question is not specific only to Mizoram, whole of Northeast. We have a lot of students who leave their own state. They have
Yes,
to go out and study outside. So do you think that our educational institutions, the infrastructure there, the education system and the infrastructure required. Now is the time for the governments to focus more. Whatever happened in the past is all there for us, we all know, and we cannot undo things that has been done. But going forward, do you think we need to really focus on this aspect as we are focusing on the health infrastructure now, creating healthcare facilities and everything? Now is the time for every government, including Mizoram government, to focus on creating better infrastructure and facilities in the education space so that our students do not have to leave their own home, their home states, and go to a Delhi or a Bangalore and then face everything that they are facing, including racism.
of course, I agree with you that we should have equally good institutions for our students here in the northeastern region. But you see, I should think that some of the colleges in the northeastern region, like Anthony's College, Edmonds College
Yes.
in Shillong, and
Sure.
in in Guwahati also we have a very good university as well
Yes.
as public schools and all that branches of the
Right.
DPS, Delhi
Hmm.
Public Schools. These are all good enough. But then you see those who are able and those who are capable, they want to send their children to bigger cities because
Right.
naturally, in the bigger cities, one has to learn most everything, and
Right.
even outside the textbook, just by
Hmm.
seeing or just by experiencing, uh,
Yes.
their educational outlook is much broader there,
Right.
and that is
Yes.
how
Yes.
most probably is
Hmm.
capable uh, finance people
Hmm.
who afford to send their children there are doing this in spite of the existence of good schools, colleges, and institutes here in the Northeast.
Right. Oh, yeah. So also about the whole issue of livelihoods for the migrant workers, uh, Mizoram has always seen this entire issue of unemployment, joblessness. That has been one of the biggest agenda during the elections, the state elections in 2018 as well. And now with so many people coming in, maybe for Mizoram, the percentage might be a little less compared to other states. But the problem is there. So, what do you think could be the solution? The larger unemployment issue of Mizoram, and now people uh, coming back to their state who might have lost their jobs outside.
You see, let us hope that one fine day this co- COVID disease will vanish and people could go back to their own places and their respective
Yeah.
places of studies or workplace like that.
Yes.
Uh, I do agree, of course, that we need to improve whatever infrastructure that we have in the northeast, particularly in
Mhm.
Mizoram, which is the even in the northeast, which is the most difficult place what should I say, a very rarely visited place. You see,
Yeah.
Mizoram remains the least visited state in the entire northeastern region.
Hmm. Yes.
And because of that, you say, even in northeastern region, say, because of the distance and being sandwiched by two foreign countries, that of
Right.
Bangladesh and Myanmar,
Myanmar.
yeah, we face a lot of problems which do not exist, fortunately, in other states of the northeastern region.
Mm.
Now, I do agree that we have to improve whatever infrastructure that we have, whether it is education or roads or some
Mm.
institute. But then, you see, even in Mizoram, we have all this institute like Institute of Management, IT, and
Mm.
all this. And people from other parts of the country are also coming here and staying here to learn to study in these institutes.
Right.
Yeah. So, of course, this needs to be improved.
Yes.
Even in spite of the, you see, Mizoram being far-flung area,
Hmm.
to study in these institutes like Institute of Management, Technology, and all, the students from other parts of the country comes in large number, and they're studying here, fortunately for us. And
Right.
in the Mizoram University, we have a very beautiful campus. There we have uh, various subjects, various institute for various subjects, and
Yeah.
this is still going. And in regard to this infrastructure, particularly in regard to education,
Hmm.
I don't say that it is good enough or adequate, but then we have, in spite of its remoteness, we have good institutes, including the university.
Yeah. And so, what about the unemployment problem in the state?
Yeah, like in other parts of the country, unemployment is a big problem.
Yeah.
Uh, Educated unemployment, particularly. Even in the center, I think today it is the worst for many
Yes.
years regarding this unemployment. Now in Mizoram also we do face this problem.
Hmm.
During our time, Mizoram Youth Commission was started, and from
Right.
there we encourage students uh, to study and to go for various occupations. And the Youth Commission helped them, and they also, they say, started online study for various jobs, including civil services.
Hmm.
That was very good and very useful for for the students.
Right.
But now I don't know how they are functioning. I don't think they are continuing whatever has been started by the Youth Commission during our time.
Right. So, sir, any solution from your side, any suggestion from your side to resolve the unemployment issue in the state now?
I say during our time, uh, we started a program which we call NetMock.
Hmm.
Uh, this is for MEDMOC. This is for the youth.
Yeah.
I say to I say we try to encourage them in entrepreneurship
Right.
in various trades.
Hmm.
and the materials which are locally available. And quite a good number of educated young people have started doing this. I don't know how they are going now, but many
Okay.
of them have been successful. We had exhibition of whatever they had produced,
Okay.
like plates from banana leaves, things like that, which are the raw material which are available in the state.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
have been doing very well. And some, say, ambitious, young, educated young people, they were very happy with us.
Okay.
And, and, and because of their enthusiasm
Hmm.
and seriousness, many of them have become successful.
Okay. Uh, so now the Zoramthanga government will be completing 2 years in office very soon. How happy
Yeah.
are you with their policies and initiatives and the overall performance of the government?
Well, to be frank with you, the overall performance is not that good. Let's say, uh, even though the finance minister himself has always been talking about money in plenty
Hmm.
that they have, but when the need arises, it doesn't. It doesn't give this out.
Hmm.
For instance, even to fight this COVID-19, the health
Yeah.
department wanted some money for purchasing some urgent things, but even
Right.
this was sanctioned. And this was known by the entire people in Mizoram.
Okay. So any
So,
other issue that?
so the talk of the town today is, even though the finance minister, who is the chief minister himself, talk about plenty of money, and in fact, in the assembly he announced that one Mr. Shekhawat
Yeah.
gave him is going to give him money. It
Hmm.
was so much so that he could not even uh, spell it out. He could not even, say the amount is so huge. He could not even say the number clearly. To that
Hmm.
extent. And the other day, some people asked him, "What is those money now? If you have so much money, it is time to dole out because it is very urgent, it is very necessary."
Right.
And how much money has the government has?
Hmm.
But his reply, which all the bureaus know now, is only God knows.
Okay.
So the financial position of the state government is not to not to God only, not even the finance minister himself.
Is all right.
It's
So the
surprising.
So the bruise issue that has been a long pending issue. In fact, recently the Chief Minister, Mr. Zoram Thanga, wrote to Tripura Chief Minister because there was this issue of displacing them. There's a lot of tension going on as far as the Bru refugees are concerned. So how do you look at this? Why has consecutive governments not been able to resolve this issue?
You see, when coming to this issue, I I must tell you that perhaps Mizos are the worst sufferers of the British divide and rule policy. We have
Hmm.
quite a big chunk of population in Myanmar. We, our population, in Mizoram now,
Yeah,
and we have quite a big chunk of population in Bangladesh. And
yeah.
even within our own country, we have a sizable population of Mizos in Manipur,
Hmm.
the neighboring Kachar, and Tripura. And in Tripura, these Jampu range and Sakhan range
Yeah.
have been occupied by the Mizos since ages. And the Mizos who are settled there, like Zampu range and the Sakhan range, they used to be very prosperous by a local standard. And at one point of time, they even demanded regional council. The entire Zampu range is populated by Mizos only. Now the Rians, I'm told, are migrant from Bangladesh. There is one on my hill in Bangladesh, and most of these brews, they are in Tripura. They are called Rians. In Mizoram, we call them Tuikuk, but now they prefer to be called brews.
Right.
So we call them brew now in Mizoram.
So, sir, is there a solution to this whole
I'm
problem?
telling you, they are not permanent settlers of Mizoram. They migrated from uh, Bangladesh. And over the years, they adopted Mizo way of life, Mizo names, and even uh, the religion, which is Christianity. Now, at one point of time, when the problem came up, even Lal Krishna Advani blamed me, tried to blame me to for simply converting them to Christianity. But no, but then these people over the years, when they came to Mizoram, migrated to Mizoram from Bangladesh, they adopted Mizo way of life,
Yeah.
and gradually they became Christians also.
Right.
And I told Alpesh Advani also that not only that they embrace this religion out of their own will, now even the children, everybody attend church and they're all very happy. Nobody questions them. So why don't you allow them under the Indian constitution to embrace whatever uh, religion that they have,
Right.
they like. So, but then in spite of that, he tried to blame me. But I told him very clearly that we never force anybody to embrace any religion.
Right.
That is against the constitution of India. And therefore, these people, they have adopted the way of life of the Mizos, they have adopted the religion, even they have adopted the names of Mizos. And
Yeah.
they have pastors' reverence and all that. So the question of forcing them doesn't arise at all. Now, they settled in Mizoram and they are very happy with us.
Okay.
During my government from 1984, we give them primary school, water supply, and various other things, and we forward them under the popular economic program, which is known as NLUP, New Land
Yeah.
Use Program.
Right.
They are also covering this. They are all very happy. But then, there was some problem with in the uh, what do you call it? In sanctuary, the
Yeah.
warden, there was a tiff between the warden and the Bruce.
Okay.
So in the process, one warden was killed, and some
Right.
Mizo, you know, uh, take to violence.
Yeah. So that is how the
A few,
displacement happened.
a few Bru villages were burned,
Right.
and so many of them left. But then I appealed to them personally that this is one just a stray incident, and
Yeah.
it is not intended against the Bruce. It's just a stray incident,
Right.
and I assured them that they'll be given protection and all. But
Right.
then within the Bru community, uh, so some disgruntled elements wanted to start insurgency
Right.
against the Mizoram government. These
Okay.
people instigated them. You see, at the point of time, they have nominated MLA from the Bru community.
Right. So.
Then these
Yeah.
people did not wanted to live, did not want to leave Mizoram.
Yeah. Okay.
And even say uh, they're intimidated
Yes.
Many of the Bruce, the see, innocent Bruce, they were coerced into leaving their village. They were intimidated, and uh, if they don't leave their respective villages and flee to Tripura, they will be punished like anything. The village, entire village will be burnt. Things like that, because of
Yeah.
intimidation and coercion. They had to leave. They had to reluctantly leave their
Right.
respective villages because
Right.
in their villages they are very well off. We cover them under this economic program. We give them primary school. We give them middle school. We give them water supply. Besides this,
Yeah.
in the villages, nobody require anything else.
Right, sir. So I'm running out of time. So quickly, I
Yes,
would want to know from you the chances of Mr. Lalyangchunga, the nominee, the Congress nominee for Rajya Sabha seat. Elections are due on 19th this month. So
all
what are
right.
the chances of the Congress candidate? Because we have seen you, one of the most veteran Congress leaders of the state, you lost both your seats during the assembly elections. So
Okay.
how optimistic are you about Lalyan Chunga's, winning the seat this time for Rajya Sabha?
You see, considering the strength of the members of the legislature, there is no ground for being optimistic.
Right.
But then I'm not a pessimist,
Yeah.
so I'm always optimistic. And
Right.
he's a very, educated, uh, highly educated man. He recently has obtained his PhD degree, and even though our numbers is
Yeah.
less than required,
Yes.
then
Yes.
let us see the outcome.
All right. And I'm sure you are equally optimistic about the Congress's future in Mizoram, Northeast, and India in the coming days.
Very much because uh, there was no anti-incumbency wave during my time till
Right.
the last moment. But the only thing was that the local church, I don't blame them because of my liquor policy.
Right.
You see, nowhere in the world prohibition has been successful. Even great country known as United States of America, they failed so miserably, so much so that they had to amend their constitution.
Right.
But then in Mizoram, even though it is supposed to be a Christian state, I thought that we should be generous to every section of the society.
Yeah.
And when there is, prohibition, those drinkers cannot, just because prohibition has been imposed, those drinkers cannot, regular drinkers cannot simply
Right.
stop their habit.
Yeah.
And rather than spurious and dangerous drinks, they should be given, say, the best of wines and liquors
Yeah.
for
All right.
them.
Yeah.
And nowhere in the world, even Christian states, known as a so-called Christian state, there is no prohibition.
Right.
So I
Right.
thought that I thought that under the constitution, even those drinkers should have their share of justice and all, and therefore
Yes.
it should be. But during the election, even though there was no incumbency wave, there was no corruption in my time.
Right.
I didn't
But
allow
still,
corruption to creep in.
yes,
But then
but the verdict was entirely different. Yeah.
during the election, the charge was against us
Right. Right.
because of the charge that we lost.
All
To be
right.
very very frank with you,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. That hoping that so things will change in the coming days. And thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, viewers, for
You're right.
watching. Thank you, sir. Thank you once
Thank you.
again. Pleasure speaking to
I
you.
wish you all
Thank you
the
so
best.
much.
Good day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To you too. Thank you,
Thank you.
viewers.
Bye.
Bye.
into Colorado.